Hey, Shalom. First, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh in the name of Yahweh Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone. Peace and blessings to the whole like the house of David. Let's get into this. It's going to be about, keeping your mind clean. Keeping your mind clean, you know. Because what you put in your mind is what's gonna be recycling your mind for a while. And now that I think about it, just the other day, Elder Kazak was, he had mentioned something like that on the highways, about, eating the roll. Eating the roll, which when you eat the roll, it's literally not talking about actually eating the roll, but reading, digesting things with digesting the scripture with your mind, you know. It's because what you put in your mind, what you put in you is what makes you, you know? Like, I know, like, just a low example, a basic example. I remember back then when you was like, if you ever grew up, on a rougher side of life, like in the hood, the ghettos, just these impoverished areas, schools, impoverished areas, schools, schools being these impoverished areas, and you ever got in a fight, what you did to prepare yourself for a fight is what? You'll probably listen to some music. You'll probably listen to some Boosie, some Webby, you know. You'll probably listen to Boosie, some Webby, before, riling yourself up. You're putting something in your mind. You putting some of that fight music in your mind, or or when you about to you preparing for a woman to get you preparing for a woman to come over, or you going over there, or you trying to do something romantic with your woman. Where you start playing, I know, like a lot of elder brothers and stuff. They be on that old stuff. You probably play some R. Kelly, you know. Oh, what was the song? I forgot who sang it. Put some Marvin Gaye. Some I forgot what that song. I know that's Twister. That's Twister. you know, to what? Get you in that mood. To have your mind playing. See, what you put in your mind does affect what you think and what you feel. You know? What you put in your mind affects what you think, what you feel, how you process things, even to the point how you reason, because it's not just music, it's what you read, what you watch. We must guard against these things, you know. Because like I've been down this week, and a lot of things playing in my head that I had to snap back into. I said, hold on. I said, hold on. Let me refresh myself. You start, delve into the spirit, scriptures, videos, where it's like it start to your mind, start to that gear start to get going, Let's get this precept. This is Proverbs 4. I think I got, what is it? Verse 23, Salakia, I drew a blank. Proverbs chapter 4, verse 23. Keep thy heart with all diligence, for out of it are the issues of life. Your heart, that heart in the Hebrew is lab, meaning what? Your mind. So keep your mind, guard your mind with all diligence, because out of that is the issues of life. You know? What's in your mind is what you're going to play out in the world, you know? What's in your mind is what you're going to play out in the world, you know? If your thing is music, right? Well, you gonna hum something out into the world. You probably gonna make a beat. You probably gonna make a beat and introduce it to the world. You probably gonna make a song and introduce it to the world, you know? You know? If you're overly angry and you don't know how to control yourself, what? You gonna spew violence out into the world. We must learn how to control our mind. And by doing that, is what I'm learning is, you know, what I'm learning from my experiences, by keeping your mind clean. Keeping your mind clean, we're going to get that. First, we're going to run down these precepts, you know. It's Ecclesiasticus, chapter 30. Verse 21, listen, give not thy mind to heaviness, and afflict not thyself in thy own counsel. You see? We gotta learn how to shake off that heavy spirit. It could be depression. It can be self-condemning thoughts. You know, it can be wicked thoughts. Satan be sending his demons to pit on you. You know, you gotta shake them off. You know, give not thy mind to heaviness. Don't dwell on it. You know, don't dwell on it. If you just ruminating on it just to ruminate, not trying to figure out a problem, you're trying to figure out how to solve that problem, you stop thinking about it, give it over to the Lord, you know? You know? And afflict not thyself in thine own counsel, you know? You can't be like, it's because of you, it's because of you, it's because of you, when it was out of your control, you know? You took preventive measures, but it was out of your control, and you blaming yourself, you know? You blaming yourself for something that was out of your power, out of your hand, you know? A mistake you made, you know? Something you being asked for forgiveness for, you know? And you moved on, and you corrected your ways, and you moved on. You know, don't be afflicting yourself. Don't be afflicting yourself. You gotta what? Don't give it to heaven. It's just, you're gonna say, all right, I'm done with it. I'm putting it down, and I'm giving it to Yahweh Shem Yahushai, and I'm moving forward. You know? I move forward. And you probably like, hello, what do I do then? What do I do then? I'm supposed to keep my mind clean. We're going to get to that scripture, you know? We're going to get to that scripture because I know I had mentioned it earlier. Or something of the like. There's Proverbs 23:7. Listen. For as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Eat and drink, said he to thee, but his heart is not with thee. You know, no, that's not it. It's my other scripture, but that's the one. That's another one I wanted to get to land back what I was saying. You know, for as he thinketh in his heart, so is he. Again, heart goes to that word lob, which is your mind, which is your mind. See, if you're an artist and you putting in art content, you're going to produce art, you know? But if you're constantly downing yourself, you're going to start walking like how you're afflicting yourself. You're like, oh, I'm a loser. You're gonna what? You're gonna move, walk, and act like a loser. There be some people like these wannabe gangsters is actually like, I remember they used to say them probably the worst ones. The wannabe gangsters, probably the worst ones, because they trying to commit something. They trying to prove a point. He grew in the suburbs. He was far detached from that life. But all he been putting himself is, just destructive content. And he's trying to play it out. He like, no, I am that. Then what, he gonna try to prove that he is that. And them be the days of real, cause them niggas, them the ones be white or, be so-called white or black or so-called black. They'll get out and do some stuff. They'll get out and do some stuff. It's crazy. One example is, I don't want to use a real example. I'm gonna use an example that's a real example, but this is an example from YouTube. It's an Edomite looking person who joined the Crips, and his name was, so they gave him a nickname Milk. This nigga did some dirt. I think this nigga ran up and stabbed some people and shot just to prove that he was in it, just to prove he was about it. And he got off. Hey, I'm telling you, what you put in your mind. So, as you think yourself, that's how you gonna be. I'm gonna read that again. Verse 7, for as he thinking in his heart and his mind, so is he eat and drink, said he to thee, but his soul, but his heart is not with thee, but his mind is not with thee. See, your mind gotta be with Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, to become like Yahweh Bashim Yahweh Shai, to constantly keep your mind clean. I'm gonna get the scripture I had wanted to get. The one I was talking about. How to keep your mind clean, how to do all these things. Ain't no point of telling you to keep your mind clean without actually teaching you how to do it. There's Philippians chapter 4. Verse 8, listen. Finally, brethren, whatsoever things are true, whatsoever things are honest, whatsoever things are just, whatsoever things are pure, whatsoever things are lovely, whatsoever things are good, whatsoever things are of good report, if there be any virtue and if there be any praise, think on these things. What, you gotta think on those things. You gotta think on those things. Constantly think on those things. I'm gonna read verse up. Now I'm gonna jump verse up. This verse 7. And peace of Yahweh Shem Shai, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your heart, your mind, and your mind through Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Let me read that again. And through peace of Yahweh Shem Shai, which passeth all understanding, shall keep your hearts and mind through Yahweh Shai HaMashiach. Then it goes through what we just said. You gotta think on those things. Think on what? Honest things, true things, good things, pure things, things of good report, virtue, you know. If it be worth of any good praise, think on those things, and that's how you keep your mind clean, because it's gonna what? It's gonna make you want the same. It's gonna make you want a good report, but also it's gonna keep your mind on the kingdom of heaven, because what our treasures, wherever a man's heart be, so is his treasure. So our heart gets to be what? In the kingdom, on the reward that the kingdom will bring. You know. So we gotta what? We gotta keep doing that, because we're making our mind fresh with it. We're making our mind fresh with it. This is Romans 12:2. Listen, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind, that ye may prove what is that good and acceptable and perfect will of Yahweh Shem Yahushua. Renew your mind, clean your mind. Keep these scriptures refreshing. Keep this truth refreshing your mind. These scriptures, ponder on what's gonna be going on in the kingdom. Ponder your place in the kingdom. Ponder on the good things that's gonna be happening in the kingdom. The good deeds you want to do with brothers, the charity you want to do to brothers, your sisters. Ponder on those things. And what? Pray. So with that, I hope you was edified. Again, I would like to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh. In the name of Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles and elders, a great millstone, peace and blessings to the hopeful at the house of David. Until next time, Yahweh willing, Shalom.